Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing dumper lockdown behaviour. So before we get into the podcast, I just want to let you know about my website, dateme.tips. That's www.dateme.tips. Do you need help trying to save your crumbling relationship? Would you like advice on how to try and get your ex back? Or maybe you need an action plan on how to try and get a girlfriend or boyfriend. I provide email coaching on all of these subjects and can help your specific situation. Visit my website dateme.tips to find out more details. That's www.dateme.tips. You will also find on my site the books that I've written, my clothing range, and other information. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast, and today we are discussing dumper lockdown behaviour. So if you've been dumped, then it can be very difficult no matter what point in time you are living through. But now we're going through lockdown. Now we are experiencing a global pandemic. Being a dumpee has never been more challenging. And that is because we have a lot less opportunity to be distracted by other things. And one of the main things which will cross a dumpee's mind is what is their dumper thinking and what are they doing? Now, although lockdown suggests that a dumper will have very little to do themselves, it does not stop the dumpee feeling concerned, feeling worried, and thinking to themselves, is there an increased chance they might reach out to me? So in today's podcast, I'm going to be going through the reasoning and the mindset of the dumper about why lockdown could have an effect on whether they reach out to you. So first of all, we need to understand, why does a dumper eventually decide to reach out to a dumpee? So there is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back. There is no 100% guaranteed system to understand as for why a dumper will reach out. But what we can do is generalize and look at the things which increase our chances as dumpees as to why they might do so. So when a dumper ends a relationship, they have a lack of emotional romantic attraction for their former partner, the now dumpee. That is why they ended the relationship. For them to decide to contact the dumpee again will mean that the romantic emotional attraction must have grown to a certain point, to a certain level in their mind. So it's gone from being very low to higher up to hit a certain marker, and then at that stage they will reach out. But how do you edit that as a dumpee? How do you increase the levels? Well, the main thing you can do is to implement my version of the no contact rule. So the no contact rule is something that many people suggest you implement if you've been dumped and want to try to get your ex back. But there are many different versions of a no contact rule that you can find online, and I believe that my version gives you the best possible chance of trying to get your ex back. So I suggest that you subscribe to my podcasts so that you can familiarize yourself with my version of the no contact rule. And if you implement this, that will really set you on the right track to begin to increase the interest, the intrigue, and eventually the romantic emotional attraction that your ex, the dumper, feels for you. And if it hits that certain level, that certain point, that is when they will reach out. So at this point, I just want to mention my weekly wingman service. I can be your wingman for the week, providing you with bespoke motivational encouragement. This can be to help with your love life as well as ingraining a self-improvement mindset. The course begins with an audio call for us to speak and then moves on to emails. For more details on this service and information on audio coaching and positivity boosts, please click the link in the description. So now you understand as for why a dumper would end up reaching out to a dumpee. We now look at how lockdown would affect this mindset. And the whole premise of lockdown is that you are locked down. You know, you can only leave your house for emergencies, and therefore you have a lot less to do. Okay, and when anybody has a lot less to do, you start to think about things, and that is why dumpees find this particularly difficult, because during this period they have less distractions. But what you need to remember is that the dumper also has less distractions, and they are more likely to start thinking about things including their past and their loved ones, and you're not going to be far from their thoughts. You was a very important part of their history, and you're still going to be part of their present, because they will start to think about you. Now, if they're thinking about you more, then obviously this is going to start to pull on the emotional romantic attraction, because as a dumpy, you have something going for you known as the fading effect bias. And that is where people tend to forget negative memories quicker than positive memories. They don't completely forget them. Obviously, they remember they happened, but the importance does begin to fade. And therefore, that is why people sometimes will say, oh, you're looking at the past wearing rose-tinted glasses. It's that kind of thing. So as time goes on, your ex, the dumper, has a lot less to do during lockdown, and they're starting to think about everything going off in their mind and their past and their loved ones, and you will cross their mind. And with the fading effect bias starting to fade away some of that negativity that they felt towards you and the relationship, there is a very good chance that the levels will start to raise more and more and more. So you are putting in the hard work by using my version of a no contact rule, and that will start to be pulling up the interest and the intrigue and the romantic emotional attraction of your ex. But the lockdown is also going to be working in your favour. That will also start to pull this level higher and higher and higher. So when people ask me and say, is my ex more likely to reach out to me during lockdown? I would say yes, they are more likely to, because this is adding an additional benefit of pulling your ex in the right direction. It is helping your ex slowly but surely get to the necessary stage, the necessary level of when they will reach out to you. However, not all exes will get to that mark. Some exes will never get to that stage, and even the ones that do, they are starting at different points. You can't see for sure what level they started at. Depending on your relationship and the breakup and how it was dealt with, your ex, the dumper, will be at vastly different stages to other dumpers of where they're starting from, and they all need to get to this same important level. So if your dumper is starting further back than somebody else's dumper, then they're going to take longer to get to that stage. And in some instances, they will never get there. There is no 100% guaranteed way to get your ex back. But if you do everything right, you stand an excellent opportunity of them one day reaching out to you, and you can then rebuild your connection. So, if your ex doesn't reach out to you during lockdown, I don't want you feeling particularly upset. I don't want you feeling, okay, that's my chances gone. Because all it means is that at this moment, they haven't yet reached that level. It doesn't mean that they won't in the future. It just means that they've needed to take a little bit longer to get to that point, and currently they have not got there. But what you can really rest your mind with is the knowledge that it would be working, okay? Even if they haven't reached that level yet, they would be slowly but surely being pulled in the right direction, providing you are behaving correctly, providing that you are using my version of a no contact rule, and you are going through self-improvement and using the hints and tips that I have mentioned in other podcasts. Then you will be pulling your ex in the right direction, and lockdown will be doing that as well. So yes, dumpees do stand more chance of hearing from their ex during this uncertain time. But if you don't hear from your ex, please don't feel low, don't feel bad, don't feel down, don't think it's never going to happen, because it still might. All it means is that your ex hasn't quite got to the necessary stage before they will reach out to you. So if you feel that this podcast has helped you, please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.
Yeah, if you miss your ex, we can help with that. Help you get him back, or we can help find you someone else. Yeah, Vincent Bolt, the relationship coach, giving you some insight, bringing you a new approach. Date me.tips, go and check the site, giving you advice, helping with your love life. Get your ex back or move to the next. Ain't no sweat, you know Vincent Bolt got you. Finding love ain't no problem, yeah. Date me.tips, check it out now.